Derek like loves instruments, and I'll say like I knew nothing about it, but anything that I pick out, like, oh, I really like this one, he'll get it, and then I don't realize like he got it for me to like play. But this one you can't go wrong with. We need two of them. Where's the other one?
At least you know.
Loren is my guru. She's my guru. My little sister is the best person in the world. Growing up, we had nicknames. My dad gave me Shelly. So in my family, everybody calls me Shelly. And in my family, everybody calls Loren Lolly or Lala. When I started Moxi, when it came down to picking the most inspirational person in the world, I chose Lolly. Because, you know, in addition to naming our most popular model after Lolly, she's inspired me to actually start the whole Moxi brand. And she was like, what makes you feel good? And I told her roller skating and roller derby. And what could you do to improve that? And I said, the skates, like, they're not cool. Like, the skates could look rad. Like, they could look vintage, and we could bring them into color. And she was like, and who's in charge of that? Roller skate manufacturers, I don't know. Well, why don't you go find them and tell them that you want to improve that? Because everybody needs a little help. And that's like how Moxi was started, because she inspired me to feel good.
Moxi, 1, 2, 3.
You might know Lolly from RollerCon or the Moxi skate camps. If you've ever met her at any roller skating event, you will know she is just like running from booth to booth, or like firing off transactions, and like with a giant smile on her face. She like really leads by feeling good, and she wants everyone around to feel good, and you just cannot help but be brought up with her. She's like an old soul, but from the future. I don't know how to describe it, but she's really passionate about euphoric foods, health. The way that she treats her body is, you know, you hear that, treat your body like a temple. And she really honors her body, and not because she wants to look a certain way, because she wants her insides to feel so good. You might be wondering why we're making a video about food. There's never been more of an important time to learn how to get creative with fresh foods, because fresh foods boost our immunity. It's healthier to eat fresh. If you go out to the grocery stores right now, you'll see that like there's all this packaged food and processed food gone, and what's left is fresh food. And I think that not just because it's perishable either, I think that another reason why the like fresh fruits and vegetables and produce is still in the grocery store is because we don't know how to use them. Like, you can eat raw food, but you'd have to be like really motivated to only eat raw foods. And if you're used to prepackaged food or processed food, like, it's not a happy transition. And I think this is the best time to bring out this video and introduce you to Lolly, because how you treat your body definitely influences how you're feeling. And Lolly's taught me that. So the better you eat and the more in your body doing other things outside of skating, the easier skating is. And I think that's important for people to understand. I want to skate until the day I die. I want to skate until I'm dead. So I'm gonna try and prepare my body to be as healthy as I possibly can be, so that I can extend my skate life for as long as I can. This video is different, and maybe what Lolly is teaching isn't going to resonate with you, and that's okay. We're not trying to force any idea of what the healthy diet or body is at all. But there's not one roller skater out there that can be reduced to just skating. Everyone that skates in our community has a unique story behind them. And I'm really interested in highlighting those unique stories to represent the entire culture of roller skating, because this is a lifestyle. Moxi is beyond roller skating. And we have plans to create more content that is about food and healthy living and feeling naturally high. I think that, you know, Lolly and the inspiration behind Moxi and roller skating is a natural high. And you feel good when you're feeling and moving in your body. And there's so many things that touch on that, like fitness and nutrition and society and, you know, what you do for work, how you get to work, or how you get to and from the bank. So I think that this video is just the beginning of a bunch of different diverse videos that touch on roller skating.
Hello, this is Lolly and we are at Glitter Island, my backyard, and today we are making coconut cream. We're making coconut cream as a cream replacement. Anything cream, you can use coconut cream. Cream is the best feeling, taste, texture. We use it for smoothies. We use it to spread on top of our green banana waffles that are phenomenal. You can use it in cakes, pies, coffee drinks, use it as creamer. It's a dairy replacement. We're gonna use coconuts in particular because it's a fresh fruit. It's not a nut, it's not very heavy. It has a wonderful texture. It's very gelatinous and filling, and it has that fat content that you really want for cream. Coconut health benefits are it's a fatty fruit, so it's really good for keto diets. It's a raw fruit, so it's really good for raw food, vegan. It encompasses all those diets: paleo, keto, raw, vegan, vegetarian. It's high in fat, and it's the really good fats. It's the MCT fats that everyone's raging about that you put in your bulletproof coffee drinks in the morning. So if you put coconut cream in your coffee in the morning, it's a win-win. The MCT fats in it, it's electrolytes, so it creates electricity in your body, and when you're drained and you can't get satiated just from water, it's like the Gatorade, the natural Gatorade. It aids in weight loss, it's high in potassium, it's antifungal, antimicrobial, antiviral. It's just a great raw food. Here on the table, we have all the ingredients to make a gallon of coconut cream. We're gonna be making half a gallon of coconut cream. The tools you'll need for coconut cream are 2 pitchers, a cleaver, stevia, vanilla, salt. You'll need a strainer to strain the coconut into the pitcher, spatula, tasting spoons, 2 bowls, one for scraping the coconut meat into and one for rinsing, and then put it in the blender. And you'll want jars for preserving the coconut cream. The coconuts we're using are the Thai young coconuts. I love getting my coconuts at international grocery stores where the cultures eat coconuts. You don't want to get the brown, mature coconuts. You want to get the young coconuts. And if you get coconuts from a generic grocery store, your local mainstream grocery store, the coconuts don't sell very frequently, so they're not really good quality, they're not fresh. You want to go to an international grocery store. And if you don't have an international grocery store near you, you could probably just search Thai young green coconut and buy them online. The first step is cutting all the coconuts. The technique to chopping a coconut, you're gonna chop it from the top. You're gonna use your cleaver, the bottom corner. Keep your hand on the handle and your hand off of the coconut when you actually go for the whack. And you wanna cut in a square. So you start with the bottom tip and you make sure your hand is on the wooden handle, and you kind of hold it there first, but when you lift up, make sure your hand is not there. Your fingers will get chopped off. So then you just go down, and like you can feel the pressure is, it's really like you're using your body weight to cut it down. And then you rotate it, and you're really using the weight of the cleaver. It's a really fun feeling. And once you get 3, sometimes you can just pop it open really easy. Now that we've cut open our coconuts, we're gonna move on to the next step and pour it into the pitcher and strain it. I like to strain afterwards, and I like to pour all the coconuts first before I cut them all in half. It's no big deal if you rip the tops off or if you keep them on. It just makes it easier to chop phase 2. So then you take your strainer and you strain it into the other pitcher. So 4.5 coconuts are gonna make half a gallon of water roughly. For this step, when you're cutting your coconuts in half, you really want a lot of pressure, and you cut them just strictly like in half. You cut one here, you rotate it, and you cut one there. And if you mess up, sometimes you cut when it's directly from the top, but usually you cut on the side. It's not gonna cut well if you cut from the top. If you cut sideways and you don't cut strictly in the middle, it's not a big deal. You end up having like 3 cuts. As long as you just get it cracked in half, that's what you're going for. This is a hard one. Now for the next step, we are going to carve out all these coconut meats. They're like little skate bowls. You could skate with your spoon. For this step, you can see there's these little pieces of meats that they're really still good, and you really want every little piece you can get. Whoops. The more you can keep it whole, that's kind of like really gratifying. And every coconut's gonna be different. These are all pretty much the same textures, but some of them are really jelly, and you still want those. If you see a purple, really jelly coconut meat, taste it first. If it doesn't taste good, don't use it. It's not gonna make your coconut cream good. These are all really gorgeous coconuts. Even get the tops, the heads of the little lips that we made when we cut open the coconut. If you can get all the coconut meat in one scoop, it makes it a lot easier when we go to the next process of rinsing it. The younger the coconut, the thinner the meat, the more jelly it is. It's not gonna come out in one scoop, but that's okay too, you can still use it. Our next step is rinsing the coconut meat. We're gonna use the bowl of water. This is a perfect example of like the paper coconut husk. You don't really have to wash that off, it's gonna blend off. If you're very particular and you want to, it's better. You're going to want to take these thicker parts that are gonna create friction in your cream texture. And then really what you want to take off are these huge, really hard, husky parts that can show up, especially on the thicker meat versions. So that paper is okay, but the thick husky part you want to take off. This is a difficult piece. It has all the parts of the husk. The thicker part you want to peel off, and that's a piece of meat you could just rinse and throw right into the blender. And then this paper part is okay, but these little pieces of harder shell, you really want to make sure you soak it in the water and rub it off really good, but not rub too hard where you're going to lose the thin jelly meat. We just finished rinsing off the coconut meat and putting it in the blender. Our next step is to make the cream. We're going to use the coconut water from the coconuts. We're going to add stevia. We're going to add vanilla and salt. There's no added sugar to coconut cream. When you add the coconut water, if you want a really thick cream, just add enough water to where the meat sits in the blender. If you want creamer for your milks, you're probably gonna want to add even more water, coconut water. But for us, we wanna make coconut yogurt with this coconut cream. We want it creamy and whippy, like a sour cream or a cream cheese for our waffles. So we're gonna add enough water to make it up to the meat. Then we're gonna add some stevia. If you guys have used stevia before, you know it's like 200 times as strong as any kind of sugar. So I like to do like 2 shakes, and really don't overdo stevia or you'll be traumatized and you'll never use it again. And stevia is really the lifesaver to sugar addicts. It's amazing if you know how to use it. So I just do 2 shakes. And vanilla is amazing. Again, if you use too much, it kind of tastes like alcohol and it will ruin your coconut cream. So I like to just do one pour. Maybe 2 pours. Okay. And for salt, again, don't over salt, but it really makes it pop. It makes the vanilla pop, makes the coconut pop. Okay. And for the blending, here we go. Okay, you want to blend it really long. You want to blend it on high to get it really creamy. This is why you use Thai young coconuts versus coconut flour versus coconut flakes. You really can't get the creaminess with coconut flakes or mature coconuts, you just can't. When you use the Thai young coconuts, it becomes so creamy. And that's exactly what we have here. Just this ooey gooey cream. This particular batch is a little runny, but it will solidify as when you let coconut cream sit out a little bit, it will culture itself. Easy to make coconut yogurt. You can make your own coconut yogurt. Those little $5 jars that are like 4 ounces. You can make 32 ounces of coconut yogurt, which is a $40 value with half a case of coconuts. So See how thick? Look at the texture of this. This is just fresh coconut cream. Once it sits out and it's in the fridge and the coconut really expands into the coconut water, it's going to thicken up and turn into this beautiful creamy texture. It's already solidifying pretty good. It's like really jelly, and we're gonna see what it tastes like. It's amazing texture right now. It's pretty on point. It's pretty on point. I don't even think it needs more salt. It definitely doesn't need more. It's not even, you can't tell there's stevia in there. The vanilla is perfect. It was the perfect amount of everything. It's on point. Now that I tasted it and it's perfect, we can just store it in jars and put it in the fridge. Our coconut cream is the perfect texture. It's the perfect flavor. We're gonna wanna jar it. I like these 16-ounce ball jars, so you can have one in the fridge. You can have 2 on the counter and let them sit for 2 days and it will culture into coconut yogurt. Check out the texture as it pours. It's gonna get more solid in the fridge. And when it cultures for a coconut yogurt, it's going to expand a lot and ferment, and it's gonna get really airy and sour and bubbly, full of probiotics. And that's how you make coconut cream. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to learn to make more plant-based recipes, please subscribe to our channel.